crazy stuff is happening. I can still do a little bit every day to get to the goals I want to get to, and I'm kind of like reflecting on the 2024 so far, and that is honestly where I'm at. Like, I know I could work harder. Okay, so welcome back to the Time to Grow Up podcast. My name is Jaslyn. I'm your host, and on this podcast we talk about everything about growing up in your 20s and just how we're going to get through it together. Okay, that's what this podcast is about. I have not filmed a video or an episode, I guess, in like 4 months. But now that we are in our winter arc era, I am really going to be on the grind, and my goal is to get 8 episodes out before 2025, so that's like an episode a week. But that being said, today we're going to be talking about entering your winter arc. Now, this has been all over my YouTube home feed. You know, I don't have TikTok or Instagram, so it's probably on there too. That's why it's made its way over to YouTube. And a lot of people are talking about like really grinding and locking in for their goals this year. And I want to kind of talk about that with you guys and kind of explain what my plans are and how me and you can actually achieve our goals before 2025 even starts. So you're probably wondering, what the heck is even a winter arc? So I Googled it, and it says winter arc refers to a period where individuals use the coldest, darkest days of the year as a means to refocus, pre-visualize, and arrive at their desired destination. So I'm taking this as kind of getting a jump start to your 2025 goals, or to finish out on the goals you set for 2024, or even get started on the goals you set for 2024. If you're like me and you kind of fell off and your life got crazy this past year, then we're in the same boat. Like, literally, I'm not trying to make this as an excuse, but I literally bought a house this year. I got engaged, moved out of my mom's house, and was in my first year of my first corporate job. So it's been a little crazy, to say the least, but I also don't want to give myself the excuse of like, oh, crazy stuff is happening. I can still do a little bit every day to get to the goals I want to get to. And I'm kind of like reflecting on the 2024 so far, and that is honestly where I'm at. Like, I know I could work harder, but I'm also not going to beat myself up over it, because life has seasons. With this season, I'm going to lock in and focus on my goals, because everything that I wanted to do this year is done. Basically, I don't have any events or anything coming up, so I can finally lock in for a good chunk of time and really get done what I want to get done. The winter arc usually starts on October 1st and lasts until January 1st. So when I'm recording this, it is October 31st. Today is actually Halloween. I'm kind of getting a late start on the winter arc, but there's no time like the present, so there's no need to keep waiting till January or saying, oh, well, I missed the winter arc, now I'm just gonna wait till January 1st to get started because I missed the time where people are actually locking in or whatever. But no, you can start anytime. I feel like if you want to start today, start today. If you want to start tomorrow, start tomorrow. So you just need to figure out what you want to do and do it. A lot of people say the reason why they do a winter arc is to get started on your goals early and recommit to the goals you set in the beginning of the year. Use that feeling of a new school year to recommit and lock in on your goals. So when I think of whenever I would start school, especially as like a little kid, you would get those like first day of school jitters, and like you plan out your outfit. You are like, this is going to be the best school year ever. I'm going to get such good grades. I'm going to, really focus in and do what I need to do for school. And I feel like that feeling always comes up when fall comes around, because the leaves are changing, the back to school season sales start, like the freaking old Kmart commercials would pop into my head, or, back to school era. I feel like that is kind of the energy that I'm putting into this like winter arc, because really the winter arc is starting in fall. It's not really winter yet. So I feel like using that new school year jitters, like that might be going to buy like a new stationery item, a new planner, a new notebook to track your goals or to write down your to-do list to do what you want to do in your winter arc, is kind of using that like new school year feeling in adulthood, basically, since I'm not in school, and I don't know if you are, but that is what I am going to focus on doing with this whole winter arc era, and figuring out like what are my goals that I want to do. So let's talk about how to actually enter your winter arc era. That's probably why you're watching this video. So first things first is you want to be clear with what you want to achieve / what your goals are. And you also want to make sure you're realistic. Now, I know all the TikTok people and all the YouTube videos, the motivational gym bros and the motivational gym girlies are like, you need to lock in on your goals today. You need to make sure you're doing 25 things a day to get to your dream life, and like, that's not what we're doing here. We're being realistic, and we're going to be simple. We're not going to take on more than we can chew, and we're not going to put 5,000 things on our to-do list every day, because realistically we cannot do that, especially if you have a full-time job, if you have children, if you have bills to pay and you have to go to work. You realistically don't have all day to do the things that you want to do outside of your like full-time job or other responsibilities you have besides your goals that you want to reach. So yeah, that is something that I would struggle with a lot, especially with like content creation or even going to the gym. I would say, okay, I'm going all in. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to make sure I get 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to make sure I post 2 videos a week. I can do it. And then the next week comes around and I'm like, oh shoot, I have this event, or I have to go do this with my fiance, or my friend wanted to hang out with me, so now I can't do anything. And then I fall back and don't do anything for the next month. That is kind of the all or nothing mindset that a lot of people get trapped into, especially when the new year comes, because you're like, dang, all of 2024 I didn't do anything. So now in 2025 I'm going to lock in. I'm going to isolate myself. I'm going to really get into my goals, and I'm not going to talk to anybody, and I'm just going to focus on me. Realistically, you cannot just focus on yourself, especially if you have a partner, if you have a family, or even if you just have a job. Like, you just realistically cannot do that, and that's okay. Everybody has different phases in your life and seasons of really, really focusing and grinding, and other seasons in life you're not really focused on your goals and you're focused on having fun or, relaxing and taking a step back. And you kind of have to realize that when you start to plan out your goals for the rest of the year. Next thing, you want to make sure you create a plan for your goals and stick with them. Be consistent. Show up every day, and even get an accountability partner if needed. This is something that I have also struggled with, is being consistent. It is very hard to be consistent and have discipline, especially when you know what you need to do and you have to just find that little bit of part of you that wants to do it. Some days you're going to wake up and you're not going to want to, go to the gym or film that video or do that project at work. There's some days where you're not going to want to do that, but doing that is going to get you to the next step and the next level of what you want your dream life, or what goals you want to reach. And a thing that I've started to do is to just time block. So once I get home from work, I make dinner, clean up around the house. But a good chunk, like an hour or two, I focus on, maybe that's editing a video. Maybe that's filming a video. Maybe that's making a piece of social media content. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's going to the gym in the morning. Whatever you can do to do one thing a day to help you take a baby step towards your overall goal is better than just sitting and doing nothing, because you can't do everything all at once. That comes back to that all or nothing mindset. If you think, I used to get into the trap of okay, well, if I can't film, edit, and upload a video and make a thumbnail in one day, what's the point of doing anything when it comes to making a video? And that's what happened with this podcast. Besides moving and all that stuff, I would be okay, well, if I can't film 5 episodes in a day, what's the point? If I can only film 1, why does it matter? But no, doing those small tasks every day adds up. I know that's kind of cliche, and you're well, people say that all the time. It's easier to do something small every single day and to build on that habit when it's small, and to grow it into something big, and you'll actually see change that way, instead of just doing it in these flashes of motivation where you hyperfixate and do something all day and then you burn out. What you want to make sure is you remove obstacles. Make sure your goals are attainable and that you can actually achieve them. This is going back to the being realistic. I already have a really, really busy schedule right now. Maybe realistically you can't add on another thing to your plate. Maybe you can only add on a small piece of it. So say, I'm going to just take this as an example because it's easy for me, because that's what I do. Say you want to get into content creation, but you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to start a TikTok page, and you want to start an Instagram. Pick one. You realistically, with the full-time job, if you have a family, if you have other responsibilities, you cannot take on another 3 social media platforms that you have to post consistently on. So with this example, I would say focus on one social media that you actually enjoy. For me, that is usually YouTube, because I enjoy long-form content anyway. I like watching long-form content, so it's easier for me to produce. TikTok now, however, I absolutely despise TikTok. I don't really like watching those videos anymore. I used to a while ago, but even just posting on there is just not fun for me. So maybe, just pick one thing that you can do and do it for a while, and then you can add something onto it. Next is you want to romanticize your winter arc. I know a lot of the gym bros and the gym girlies are making it this dark aesthetic, and it's cold, and it's gonna get cold outside. You're not gonna want to get up to go to the gym, or you're not gonna want to do anything after you get off work. You're just gonna want to sit and watch TV for 4 hours before you go to bed. You have to make sure that you're romanticizing, and the way that I like to romanticize things is to make a vision board, make a Pinterest board, make it a background on your phone of the aesthetic of what you want this season of your life to look like. Journal like you've already achieved these goals. So writing in that mindset of like, oh, I've already, gotten to my goal weight, or I've already been consistent in the gym for months. Like, I'm already there. And you kind of start to visualize that and take on that persona of like, oh, I've already achieved those goals. So now let me act like a person who is already doing the thing that I said I wanted to do. Embody the person that you want to become in the winter arc. So if you're saying, oh, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. every day and go to the gym before I go to work, then you have to visualize that and imagine that and start doing that. And it's easier said than done. Like, I just got into journaling this past month and it has been very helpful. I'm actually going to give you guys some journaling prompts at the end of this to kind of get your brain flowing and thinking of like, what do I want my winter arc, or what do you want your winter arc to look like at the end of, December. I think it's just something fun that you can do, because honestly, being disciplined and doing things you don't always want to do is hard, but if you have something pretty to look at while you're doing it, it makes it a little bit more fun, in my opinion. Next thing, you want to make sure you're taking care of all aspects of your health when it comes to this winter arc. I know a lot of emphasis is on like the gym and your physical fitness and what you look like and losing weight or building muscle or whatever, but you also want to take care of yourself mentally. So maybe that is starting to go to therapy, or starting to journal, or talking to your friends and family about how you're feeling, and kind of just getting that out somewhere, so it's not just all in your head and like brewing in there, and you're still in like, that's all you focus on is just like are going through, instead of getting that out somewhere. Maybe that's on paper, maybe that's doing a voice note, maybe that's talking to a friend or a family member or a therapist. You just got to make sure you're taking care of yourself mentally and physically, because I think a lot of people focus on the physical aspect of this quote-unquote winter arc or locking in, but you also have to make sure you're taking care of yourself mentally and being like, okay, I got this. I feel good about myself. I feel good about where I am now, but let's take it to the next level, And I think that also comes back to like, in this winter arc, you're not punishing yourself because you want to get to these goals. This is like a form of like self-love. Like, hey, I see that, in 2024, I didn't really get to where I want to be, but now I understand that I want to get to the next level, and I love myself enough to recommit to my goals and really focus on what I want to do in 2025. Next thing I want you to do is take a step back. Now you're like, wait, you just said I need to lock in. What do you mean take a step back? I mean to focus on yourself and your goals. So a lot of times, if you're like me and you're a people pleaser, which I'm going to make a video episode on that too, because that's something I was like eye-opened about, that I am a certified people pleaser, and I want to make a video on that, an episode of like how to not be a people pleaser. But you want to make sure that you're focusing on yourself and your goals and kind of just putting yourself first. I know that's easier said than done, especially like I said, if you have responsibilities, if you have a partner, if you have friends. I'm on my lunch break at work when I'm filming this, but I have to answer chats, and the chat went off because I forgot to turn it off, so I hope I remember where I was. In this area of the winter arc especially, you want to make sure that you're taking a step back and you're really like, okay, this time is about me recommitting and refocusing on my goals. Like, yes, still be there for your friends and family, but maybe you got to take a little bit of time for yourself and to be like, hey, from these hours of the day, I'm going to be working on XYZ, or I'm going to be focusing on work that I need to get done. So please don't contact me, or please just send me a text if you really need to get a hold of me, because I'm going to be really committed and focusing on what I need to get done. Because especially if you are a people pleaser like me, it is hard to like say no, which I've come to realize is something I need to work on personally, is to just say no and be like, no, I have to get this done. I can't, hang out right now, or I can't talk right now. I have to get this work done so I can really stay committed on my goals and what I need to do. Next thing are like the areas of the winter arc. If you're kind of like listening to this episode and you're thinking, well, I don't really know what I want my winter arc to be focused on, here's some ideas. It could be focused around fitness. That's something I brought up a lot in this episode, because that's one of the areas that I'm kind of toying with and seeing if I want to focus on that, which I probably will. It could be career. So maybe there's like a new position you want to apply for, or you're looking for a new job, or you're looking to go into a new industry, or a job change, or maybe a promotion, or just focusing on getting in that next step of your career life. Could be your finances. You could be focusing on paying off debt, maybe paying off like student loan, credit card, saving more, opening like a Roth IRA, or, just something to do with your finances. And then last thing is health overall. So maybe you just want to eat a little bit better. Maybe you want to, not eat out fast food that much. Maybe you just want to, instead of eating out 4 times a week, maybe go down to 1. Maybe you want to drink more water, or maybe you want to eat more fruits and vegetables, or you want to get more protein in your diet. Things like that you could focus on in this winter arc era. It doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need to cut everything out. You don't need to, go from 0 to 100. You just need to go from 0 to maybe 25, then maybe 50, then 75, then 100. It's in phases. You don't want to go all in, because if you're like me, you go all in and then you burn out. And then you go all in and then you burn out, and you go all in and you burn out. It's like a cycle. So you want to make sure that you're doing it at the pace that is good for you. Let's talk about what my winter arc era is going to look like and what I'm going to focus on. So first things first is content creation. So I started this podcast in June of 2024, posted like 5 or 6 episodes, and then fell off. So that's something I really want to focus on, and my goals with that is to make sure I'm uploading 1 episode a week. They'll probably be on Mondays, because I feel like a lot of people listen to these on Mondays while they're like driving to work and stuff. Make simple social media content to go along with it. Now, usually when you, like a lot of the videos I watched about podcasting are like, make sure you share shorts or like TikTok videos of your episodes, and you're posting on Instagram and you're posting on Facebook. And bestie, I don't have time for that, because I have a full-time job and I have other responsibilities, so I cannot commit to posting on every social media platform known to man about my podcast episode. So I'm just going to focus on 2, which is going to be YouTube, obviously posting a long form, maybe posting some shorts, and then posting like pictures of the episode or whatever on Instagram. And then I might make a little Facebook page so people can join and everything. And I also have a booktube channel, and I want to make sure I'm, putting some TLC into that as well, because I kind of get into this trap of like, I can only focus on one big project at a time, when realistically that's just not how I roll. I really like to work on different projects at a time, because I lose interest, or I burn out, or I want to talk about something else. Like, I don't always want to talk about self-improvement like this. Maybe I want to talk about books one week. So that's kind of like how I'm balancing it out. Is on my booktube, I literally just post a video and let it go. I don't post it on any other social media. I don't promote it that much, because it's just about me and what I like to read. So I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to make it this whole big idea. Next is my health. So I just want to, start, going on walks, hitting my 10K steps when I can, going into the gym. But my gym over here kind of sucks to where I moved, so I don't know if I'm going to actually do that. And to just make sure I'm moving my body like I need to, and eating well and drinking my water and things. Last thing actually, is building my side hustle. So to earn a little bit more money along with like my full-time job, I'm just starting to dog sit and pet sit, and for that the only social media I post on about that is Facebook, and that's what I'm going to leave it at. And I just schedule the same thing on Instagram, so it's pretty easy, and I don't want to put too much pressure on myself of like usually a lot of my clients or people I watch their dogs for are like word of mouth or family friends. So it's not like I need to do this whole business plan and social media marketing strategy to find clients. It's pretty simple. So those are like the 3 pillars of my winter arc personally. Let me know, and if you're watching the YouTube, let me know in the comments below what your winter arc is going to be. And if you're listening, maybe post it on the Instagram, because I'm going to link the Instagram down below or whatever. So yeah, last thing, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Last thing we're going to talk about is some journal prompts. So like I said, I'm really getting into journaling, so I want to make sure that you guys have something that you can take away from this episode and you can apply to your actual life. So let's see what I wrote. So the journal prompts I have for this episode is: have I sabotaged my own progress on my goals this year? If so, how will I focus on improving my life in the last quarter of the year? So maybe you fell off on your goals and you want to recommit. How are you going to actually recommit? Write down those steps and say like, okay, I'm recommitting to X goal and this is how I'm going to do it. Next question. What would the season of life teach me if I went all in on my goals for the rest of the year? So if you really committed, took an hour or 2 each day to really focus on your goals, what do you think that would look like? What do you think that would result in? And do that and see if it happens. Last question. What seed am I going to plant during my winter arc? So what thing are you really going to focus on and cultivate in these last 2 months in 2024? And write that out. So yeah, those are the journal prompts, and that's this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, let me know if you have any more ideas and things you want to talk about. I do have a couple of ideas already planned out and like in the drafts that I want to get recorded. Actually tomorrow, so the Friday, so this is going out on November 4th when you're listening to it. And then the Friday before, I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out. So I want to make sure I have at least some content written out. So whenever I can like talk again after I get them out, I already have stuff to go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to rate the podcast, leave a review wherever you're listening. 5 stars, please. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.